Good to see you again. I'm going to have to start wearing a hat to deal with the lights. The lights are so damn hard on my eyes. So I hope there's not too much of a shadow over my eyes. But anyway, let's give it a go. Anyway, so as you may know, my field of expertise is in NLP, hypnotherapy and meditation. And today, 12th of April 2020, I want to offer you some suggestions on how to deal with the coronavirus problem. Now, I know you've been getting suggestions. We've all been getting inundated with information about coronavirus, so just listening just for a couple of minutes. So we start by looking at the present state and the possible negative outcomes. Things are probably going to get worse, a lot worse. The government told us we needed a lockdown for 2 weeks, but that could be extended for 6 months. Who knows? Over here in Queensland, Australia, the kids were on holidays for 2 weeks, and now they're going to be homeschooled for 5 weeks. So you can see we can't really tell what's going to happen. And with the lockdowns, we're seeing Stalinist police behaviour. People getting fined $1,000 for buying a kebab and eating on a park bench. You imagine that. You go to the shop. You're allowed to go to the shop, buy food. The guy buys a kebab. So he walks away from the people in the shop, sits out in the park bench, gets a fine. Another couple of guys in Australia, they bought a pizza, sit out in the car eating the pizza, they get fined. And then you get a 16-year-old girl. She's fined $1,600 for taking a driving lesson with her mother. Oh God, they could be breathing their air, breathing out into the atmosphere. Give me a break, The pollution from the motor vehicle is worse than the virus. Anyway, as you know, things tend to occur in patterns, in waves, all right? So we get this coronavirus lockdown for 6 months, all right? Millions of people lose their jobs and their businesses. There could be shortages of food and essential supplies. Now, scientists have been predicting a food shortage for years. And just this morning I saw a video on Sky News Australia where they say that because of the recent drought in Australia, rice production is down considerably. And in previous years, when Australia has failed to grow enough rice, we would buy it from Vietnam. But now, Vietnam is stuck, and they're doing the right thing for their people and are no longer exporting rice. So what are the Aussies going to do to replace the rice in their diet? And then we have to take into consideration that Chinese companies are buying up an increasing number of farms in Australia and New Zealand and the USA and probably elsewhere, and they're exporting the food back to China. So will the Australian government stop this export in order to take care of our own people? In the same way that Vietnam has stopped the export of rice to take care of their people? It's a good question, isn't it? We're also going to have to deal with the likelihood of a recession. And then after Big Pharma create a mandatory vaccine, there could be another version of the virus to deal with. There always is. And possibly more lockdowns and so on. It could take decades for things to stabilise. Add to that the fact that the globalists and the UN are intent upon implementing their new world order. So just look at the summaries of Agenda 21 and 2030. Agenda 21, it actually states somewhere that no camping, no fishing, no being in the outdoors. And what do we get now? We get people fined for being in the outdoors and fined for fishing and fined for paddleboarding. Tells you something. Anyway, so this is our present state, right? This is our present state, which has thrown nearly all of us to the edge of our map. So we're not faced with a stretch goal, but with having to set an almost unrealistic goal, and then with the task of drawing upon our inner resources and outer resources to achieve our outcomes. So both you and me, all of us have to think differently, which I covered in a previous video, which I shall link below. It's titled How to Take a Jump into the Unknown with a Sense of Trust. So please take a moment to add this video to your watch list. It shows you in detail how to deal with a challenging situation like we are facing with the coronavirus. And then we get to personality traits and values. So just let's take a few minutes to look at traits. The traits of highly successful people. We start with gratitude for being alive. Gratitude's a very important trait. It's just like being grateful for what you have, being grateful for who you are, being grateful for your personal history, because within all of that, there are going to be some keys to your success. Being grateful for having a cup of black tea in my lovely studio here in Varsity Lakes. And you have to take responsibility. Blaming others or the world is not allowed. It's a waste of time and resources. So take responsibility. Be conscientious. Be an individual. Be a leader and take action. Now, at first, it doesn't matter too much what action you take, as long as you take some action, which gets you moving. And then from the feedback of your actions, you can then reevaluate your present state and create a new desired outcome. And when you have time, watch the video, How to Gain Personal Power by Taking Responsibility for Your Life. So you have to start planning ahead. For some of you who are more present oriented, then this could be a challenge. So accept the challenge. No excuses. And learn how to set goals, considering both the negative and the positive consequences of your actions. And then you need to connect with others, collaborate, form communities, and step out beyond your comfort zone and get out there and introduce yourself to a wider range of people, looking for people who you can team up with and collaborate on some project such that 10 years from now you can look back, with a sense of satisfaction and pride that you did good. All right, and remember, keep in mind, there are two types of people in the world. Those who help and those who hinder. If those who hinder hold you back, then just put them aside and spend your time with those who are willing to collaborate in an efficient manner. So learn how to focus in and concentrate. Be like a Navy SEAL. Now, in a group of Navy SEALs, each person is an individual. Each person is highly skilled and has the resources and the mindset to take care of themselves. And when they team up with other SEALs like themselves, then you get a group of people willing to do what it takes to get the job done. Wouldn't it be nice if our politicians worked like that? So you get a group of highly skilled people who watch each other's back. And that's what you want, do you not? So learn to put aside your differences and work as a team. So another suggested video to add to your watch list is how to build a powerful team. Now, what do you need? I'm thinking worst case scenario here. Right? This is worst case scenario. But then once in a while, that could be the best mindset. You see, there are times to be an optimist and there's times to be a pessimist. So what do you need? You need shelter. You need a home. You have to pay the rent or the mortgage, which means you need money. Who knows what will happen to the money supply? And I remember back when we had a recession in the late 1980s, people started up barter systems. There was barter card, which I think is still going, and a let system, which was local employment trading system. Now, of course, there's the digital currencies, and there was the digital currency that I actually looked at because I wanted to use it for trading, and it was only about a cent or 5 cents a unit or something or other. And I was going to buy $100 of these. But when I looked into it, all they're doing was trading it. So I thought, I don't want to trade. Anyway, the sad story is now that digital currency is worth something like, what is it? $100,000 a unit. I would be a multi-millionaire right now. Shit. Anyway, so you need some form of currency to trade with others in a free market. And you need food. The food supply is going to get interrupted in some way or another. I got no idea what's going to get interrupted or how it could get interrupted. All we know so far is that there's going to be a rice shortage in Australia. I'm just laughing about the Asians we have over here who strip our shelves of baby formula and other products and ship back to China. Anyway, so when I was a boy, we lived on a 1/4 acre block. All right, that was great. We grew veggies, and at one time we had chickens. And if you are living in an apartment, like I am now, you can grow food on the balcony. Just get polystyrene boxes from the veggie shop and fill them with soil. If you've never grown veggies, it's going to take you a while to learn. Perhaps you could grow hydroponics. If you have a backyard, perhaps you could farm some chickens. And keep in mind that you can't survive on fruit and veggies for a long time. You're going to need protein. All right? This was made clear in the Old Testament with the story of Cain and Abel. Cain brought veggies to the altar while Abel brought meat and fat. God blessed Abel. Why? Because it's symbolic. A community needs a good source of protein and fat to survive. So if you're a vegetarian, you're still going to need your protein. Bunya nuts, I don't know where you're going to get it, but you're going to need protein. And on the topic of collaboration and community, perhaps you don't need to farm your own food. All right, so perhaps you don't need to grow veggies on the balcony. Perhaps it would be more efficient to connect with local farmers or community gardens and support them in some way or another. And then you need transport. So right now I can drive my car to the service station to fill up with fuel. But what if the right to drive a car is taken away from us, which basically it is right now? We're allowed to drive to the shopping centre to buy food and groceries, and people are getting checked. And there was a woman, I don't know, she was checked, and what did she went to the supermarket because she wanted to buy, I don't know, she bought something, some product, and the cop said it's not essential. So basically that's a right to drive is taken away from us. And the radical environmentalist group Extinction Rebellion has been trying to do that. So an alternative form of transport could be good. Perhaps a push bike. Okay, you can still get picked up by the cops, but anyway, a push bike, an electric bike, or an electric scooter. And don't forget, you need money. You need cash flow. You may have assets. But if you don't have cash flow, you could be stuck. And you can't rely upon government handouts at all. You're not in control of that. So those people, I don't know, I see these memes and jokes about people being bored and stuck at home. I think, what the heck are they doing? I'm busy, I'm flat out. What are these people doing? It's one thing to, watch YouTube or Facebook and gather information, but do something, It's not, you've got to do something, be proactive. Anyway, so you've got to make money. To make money, you need a job or a business. If you just lost your job, then maybe it's time to look at self-employment. Don't just sit around and watch TV, do something. If you have a business that has been severely impacted, then explore your options. Be proactive. Brainstorm your ideas and take some action. It's better sooner than later. And I did a video some time back on future selfing. That is, creating the best version, or at least the next version of yourself. So future selfing is another term for goal setting, but it's got a different flavor to it. So make sure you watch the future selfing video and get into the habit of doing regular future selfing exercises. I do them on these large pieces of butcher's paper, which I get from my local fish and chip shop. And remember, you can do these by yourself. You can do them with your family and friends, your team or business associates. And if you're looking for an NLP coach, then feel free to book a free 20-minute session with me on Skype. Connect with me on Skype by searching for Abbey Eagle, Gold Coast, Australia, and I'll be very happy to connect with you and have a chat. And if you have any ideas on how you and me could collaborate in any way, please contact me on Skype or from my website, abbeyeagle.com. And if you have not done so, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell, and join me on the Facebook NLP and Hypnotherapy group. That's the Facebook group that I connect with people. My personal Facebook page is just with a small group of family and friends. All the best to you, and I look forward to seeing you again.